Hello, my strong and healthy friends. Today we are answering the question, how do I make healthy eating a lifestyle, not just a diet, not just something that I try every once in a while or start when the new year comes? How do I actually eat healthy and nourish my body and be more intentional about taking care of myself in a way that I can stick with and not just fall off the plan 2 weeks later? So today I'm excited because I'm going to lay the foundation for you so that way you have something to build off of, something to stack bricks, something to help you build momentum going into this week, into this month, into this new year, with the intention of nourishing your body and how we can do that in a way that is a lifestyle and that will work for you and that'll help you feel good and strong. So before we get into the podcast, welcome. This is the 1% Healthier podcast. My name is Megan Timpson. I'm a personal trainer and nutrition coach, and I am very passionate about helping women get in shape, but more importantly, make it a lifestyle that they can stick to and enjoy. So if you want to take notes, if you want to write down things that come to your mind and ways that you can apply this, here's going to be a couple of the points that we're going to talk about. One, we're going to talk about what healthy eating actually looks like. What does a meal look like? What are we looking for in a meal? We're going to talk about protein. We're going to talk about fiber, water, mindsets behind food, and staple meals, because this episode today is just going to be a foundation for coming ones, because in the future we're going to talk about, okay, well, now that you have the healthy food, what do you do with it? Meal planning and everything, and cooking and different meal ideas to help make healthy eating easier for you, a lifestyle again. We're going to talk later about, do old habits die hard? How to stop mindlessly eating or emotionally eating. We're going to talk about relearning hunger and fullness and trusting your body with all foods. We're going to talk about fueling your workouts and pre and post workout do's and don'ts. Things like that in each coming episode. So again, that we can stack your foundation and really build you on a good ground. So that way, again, this is your lifestyle. It's not just something that you're going to grasp straws and hope that it sticks. So the first thing that is going to be really important for you to understand and start to live and implement is 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day. Why is that important? 1, to have sustained energy throughout the day. 2, because your body needs energy and needs calories just to survive, whether or not you're active or not. Your heart needs calories, your heart needs energy, your lungs need energy, your body needs energy. So by having food throughout the day, I know that this is so simple, it feels simple, but it's often overlooked, and a lot of people want to push out their hunger because they're trying to lose weight. There's a lot of different messaging out there, but if we're building on a healthy foundation and a lifestyle for you, I need you to eat 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day. How do we do that? One of the things that I want you to think about is when it comes to a meal, your meals should overall be balanced. And what does a balanced meal look like? That looks like all the macronutrients, proteins, carbs, fats, and also color. I include color in there because that should be a goal, to have a fruit or a vegetable with your meal, because that usually has fiber, and we're going to talk more about fiber in a second. But when you go to make your meals, thinking about, where am I getting my protein source from? Is that from chicken, eggs, Greek yogurt, beef, cottage cheese, egg whites? Where am I getting my protein from? Then when it comes to your carbohydrates, where am I getting my carbohydrates from? Am I leaning more towards a simple, easy to digest carbohydrate, or am I leaning towards one that's going to give me energy for a sustained period of time that's a little bit more starchy? I'm thinking more like potatoes, sweet potatoes. And then when we think about fats, usually my meals that comes with the meat already itself, like a fattier cut of meat, I would say normally, if I'm doing ground beef, it's like a 93.7 or a 90.10. So there's a source of fat in there as well. So that's important because fats help you to have healthy hormones. It helps your nervous system, right? Fats help your cells and protect your cells so that they are healthy and bouncy like your skin. There's a lot of benefits of all the macronutrients. So when we think about healthy, balanced meals, 3 meals a day, getting all the macronutrients, remember that there is no macronutrient that is bad. And I feel that's one of my biggest grievances with the nutrition world, is that everyone is so quick to make an enemy out of something, when the reality is everything has something to offer. And it's about not having it in excess, because anything in excess is usually too much of a virtue, is a vice with most anything. So it's just being mindful of how much do I need And that's another thing that I want to talk to you about is how much protein do you need, how many carbs do you need, how much color do you need, what would that actually like look like on your plate. If right now you haven't been focusing on protein like barely at all, starting today, aiming for 100 grams of protein minimum is going to be very important. So like 30 grams a meal, 30 to 40 grams a meal is going to be the perfect sweet spot for you. But as you become more active, as you want to build more muscle, we're going to be aiming for more protein, closer to 1 gram per pound of your body weight. But I would say give or take 10 to 20 grams of that. So if I'm 160 pounds, I would be aiming for around 140 to 160 grams of protein, give or take. So that's something to keep in mind and being mindful of what that looks like. One egg, for example, is like 6 grams of protein. So if I'm just having like one egg a day with my avocado toast, it's not enough. It's not going to cut it for the protein needs that you have to give you the energy to support your muscles, to support your body, to help you feel full and satisfied. You're going to need more protein than that. So where would you be able to elevate that meal? Let's say you have avocado toast every day for breakfast. Where can I add in more protein to that? You could either do eggs and egg whites. So 2 or 3 eggs, adding like a cup of egg whites in there. Boom, you've got about 30 grams of protein. You can think about, okay, well, does the toast that I'm using, does that have, or the bread, does that have protein in there, fiber in there? You can maybe even add salmon on top of your avocado toast. That might be a move. Cottage cheese. There's a lot of different options, but thinking about your meals with the what can I add mentality to elevate your meals to make sure that you're getting in everything that you need is going to be very key. A point that I want to make about the 3 meals a day and like having that structure, usually I would say even 3 to 4 meals a day, but again, our foundation is 3 meals a day. And that doesn't include like pre and post workout snacks or snacks at all. But this is like the foundation again for your diet is we want to make sure that those meals make up the majority of energy that your body is taking in so that way you're not snacking throughout the day. Let's say, I'm just going to throw like arbitrary numbers here, but like let's say that your total calories for snacks and total amount of food that you're eating comes from your snacks throughout the day versus your meals. That I would say is like a tipping point, like where we could switch things up a little bit and make sure that more of your food is coming in your meals rather than coming in through the snacks throughout the day. So why is that important? Because when you have a good solid meal, it's going to keep you fuller for longer. It's going to be able to keep you focused and have energy to last you until the next meal. Because if you're just like barely getting by with your avocado toast in the morning, you're just barely getting by with 1 cup of Greek yogurt, constantly thinking about your next meal, then it's like I'm distracted all day long thinking about food, and I just want to eat something to satisfy my hunger and make me full. But if you're like worried about being full because for whatever reason, we want to make sure that we're getting the nutrients that we need throughout the day in bigger quantities. That is going to be a game changer, especially if you feel like you're hungry throughout the day. Is okay, are my meals like actually substantial, or are they the bare minimum? Because if they're the bare minimum, that's just getting you by barely to the next snack, to the next meal, to the next snack. I want you to think about, okay, can I add more to my meals to make it more satisfying? I remember for me, like when I was like really trying to think about, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? Because I've been eating healthy, but I'm still constantly hungry. I'm not seeing the progress that I want to make. It was understanding that shift of, oh, I'm actually like, my meals are actually pretty small. Like even if you're thinking about calories, they're like, 200-300 calories a meal? And it should be closer to 500 calories minimum for like an active woman. And I was like, oh, okay. No wonder like I keep going to snacks to try and get the fuel that I need. So this is just one like small tweak that we can make. Make your meals substantial and bigger so that way you don't need as many snacks throughout the day. Not that you can't have snacks, but it's just like what is going to support your lifestyle the best, especially if like you're very busy and on the go. Nothing is worse than being so busy and on the go and you're not even like getting in the nutrients that you need, and either you're hungry or you're suppressing your appetite, and then no wonder at the end of the day, you're lacking the energy and don't have what you need. So, you don't have the energy to go to the gym, you don't have the energy to do anything. It's because you haven't fueled your body. So how can we get in, the amount of food that we need to be able to sustain us throughout our workday, throughout whatever activities are coming up for us? It's just that mindful and intentional piece of how can I take care of my body the best way that I know I can. And that really does boil down to giving it consistent fuel and nourishment and not running on empty. Because if I had my car and I was constantly driving it and expecting it to go far and have the energy to take me across town on empty, I think that's kind of an unfair ask. And it's the same for yourself. It's an unfair ask to be able to do a lot of things, to do workouts, to do creatively demanding things, to run a business, to lead people, to support your family. There's a lot of things that you need to do, and to ask yourself to do that on empty or very inadequate fuel is unfair. It's unfair to yourself. So I just want you to know, this is if you haven't had permission to fuel yourself and add more to your meals, this is it. Add more protein, add more fiber, add more carbs, add more. Okay, now that we've covered the 3 meals a day and why that's important, we've talked about protein, minimum 100 grams a day, working up to a gram per pound of your body weight. The third point that I want to share with you today is about fiber. Fiber is so important for your overall health, but really thinking about your gut health, supporting good digestion, healthy hormones, keeps you full and satisfied. It balances your blood sugar, helps with your digestion and bowel movement regularity. That is so important. It also helps with weight management naturally and is good for your heart health. So when we're thinking about fiber, we might not have any idea how much you're eating in a day. I know that if I'm not conscious of it, I have no idea either. So this is just one area of your nutrition foundation that you can come back to often, is being intentional about your fiber intake. Where can you get in fiber? I want to share with you some of my favorite ways to get in fiber. Berries, especially raspberries. 1 cup of raspberries is 8 grams of fiber. That's almost half of your daily intake, because the goal for women should be 25 grams of fiber every single day. So thinking in your brain, okay, 100 grams of protein minimum, working up to that, 25 grams of fiber daily. Where can I get that? Some of my favorites, again, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, pears. I've been adding a lot of pears in my life. I feel like they're in season right now. So I've been thinking of those, having those as a snack with Greek yogurt or adding them into a salad. Chickpea pasta is another one that I rely on often to get in fiber, because it's one of those easy meals that you can throw together like a box mac and cheese. It's the protein and fiber pasta. Add that, then you add green beans. There's even more fiber in there. And then adding chicken on top of that, more protein, boom. Everything you need in one meal, nice and easy. Other fiber things that I like are green beans, fresh or frozen. I also like green peas. One of my favorite things to do recently is getting frozen bags of green vegetables and being able to either microwave them or boil them and put them into a pasta dish or a salad or just a regular bowl meal. So awesome, so easy. Other foods for fiber: bananas, Brussels sprouts, oats, apples, edamame, sweet potatoes, chia seeds, whole grain English muffins. All of those I have pretty regularly, so now I'm just thinking to myself, okay, where can I get in even more of those things? If I'm making a smoothie, that's something so easy that I can add in is a scoop of chia seeds, a tablespoon or 2 of chia seeds into my post-workout smoothie that I normally just have a banana and protein powder and cottage cheese. That's a small thing that I can do to be more intentional about my fiber intake, just adding a scoop of chia seeds. Same thing for you. Where can you be a little bit more intentional and adding in, okay, I know I need to add fiber, so I'm going to add this. Again, that what can I add mentality is so important. The fourth point that we need to talk about that does not go without saying is water. We need to be drinking water. And it's so easy to drink water when you have a water bottle and it's just with you all the time. I recently lost my water bottle and have forgotten how much that helped. And so now I have another water bottle, but it's not as fun to drink out of because it doesn't have a straw. So again, we know we need to drink more water, and the easiest way to do that is by having it with us all the time. The emotional support water bottle. I don't know if you've seen those memes, but that's definitely so relatable to me. I take my water bottle with me everywhere I go. It is not I do not leave the house without a water bottle. And if you struggle to drink water, adapt that mentality too. I'm not going to leave the house without a water bottle. I'm always going to have a water bottle in my car. That's where I drink a lot of water, is on a commute somewhere or when I'm just like sitting down working. I have my water bottle there. Like, why not just sip on water? Make drinking water easier for yourself. And if you don't like the flavor of water, add fruit to your water, add electrolytes, not a ton with sodium unless you are sweating a lot, working out a lot, live in a hot climate. There's times and places for electrolytes, but depending on the electrolyte you have, just be mindful of the sodium intake. The fifth thing I want to encourage you to do when it comes to your nutrition foundation is eating without distractions. Distractions could be your phone, could be TV, could be rushing out the door, could be eating while you're standing, doing a million other things, could be eating in the car on your way to and from different places. I would love for you to be more intentional about how you're eating your meals, not just what you're eating in your meals. Because when you're in a relaxed state and your nervous system is not in fight or flight, it is much easier to digest and be present and enjoy your food and think about what you're eating and do you actually like the taste of this food? What would make this better next time? Is this satisfying to me? Being able to think about the food that you're actually eating and how it's affecting you makes such a difference, because I've lived in so many seasons of life where I would wake up and be like constantly, from the moment I wake up, on the go, and not have a ton of time to eat breakfast. So I know there's a time and a place for this advice, but there's also things that you can do to take more control and add more time into your day to make the time to have a breakfast, whether that's like prepping something the night before that you can sit down and have like 5 minutes to eat and then go, rather than shoveling it in your face on your way to work. There's just small things that you can do to, again, take better care of yourself, being more intentional about your health and wanting to truly nourish your body. A really great place to start with this is genuinely eating without distractions. So I know that that's a hard thing to do, especially if you're not used to it, especially if you're used to working and eating at the same time. What if this week, instead of working through your lunch or working during while you're eating lunch, that you made yourself a plate of food, you gave yourself 15 minutes. 15 minutes could either be a really long time, could be barely any time, to just sit and eat your meal and just think about the food that you're eating. What if you did that tomorrow or the next day or whenever you're listening to this podcast? What if you did that tomorrow? Like, that can be a small thing that you can do to be more intentional about nourishing your body. And again, is a great place to start if you're wanting to make this a lifestyle, is just bringing more attention to how you're eating. Another point along with no distractions that I want to bring to your attention as well is when you're thinking about, am I doing this right? Or is this the right amount of food, the right amount of protein, carbs, fats, color? How much do I need? The best way to gauge that for yourself and to really understand like what feels good to you is thinking about how those foods make you feel, not just in the moment, but how is it going to make you feel in 30 minutes and then in the next 3 hours? Does it give me the energy that I want? Does it help me to be focused, or does it like bog my mind and like make my mind clouded? Was the food really heavy? How is the food affecting me? That is a really great place to start when you're thinking about making this a lifestyle, because then you're thinking about, how does food affect my life, right? But you're also thinking about, is this food supporting me not only in the moment but also my goals? Does that mean that you can never like go out to eat and enjoy like an indulgent meal? No, but again, you're just being mindful of, this is like a fun opportunity. I'm going to have this meal. And it also does give you that power back to yourself to be like, I've had enough. Like, I don't want to eat another bite, because if I have one more bite, that's going to send me over the edge and I'm going to be sick, right? I'm thinking about, how are these foods affecting me, like as a whole person? How I think, my brain, my stomach, my energy. All these things are important to keep in mind when you are making your food choices or when you're planning your food choices, because then you can modify and know that I'm going to have less of this and more of that, or I'm going to have more of that and less of this. So that's just something to keep in mind. And in later episodes of this Nourishing Your Body series, we're going to talk about what you need to be keeping in mind, especially when it comes to like fueling for your workouts. Like before and after you work out or you run, how can you best support your body and how you want to feel in those moments as well as throughout your day. The last thing that I want to leave you with when it comes to your nutrition foundation is the idea of your staple meals. Everybody and their mother has meals that they make on repeat all the time. Like growing up, you probably can think about meals that your parents made over and over and over again. Those were just like the staple meals. What are we having for dinner? Oh, we're having that. Awesome. Love that meal. Everybody has things that they fall back on. So if we're thinking about what are my staple meals, like what do I gravitate towards, you can either take that meal and elevate it, add something with fiber, add more protein to it, or thinking about what can I try? What can be a new meal that I try? We're going to talk more about this next week, about meal planning, meal prepping, meal ideas, how to find more staples for you, like protein and fiber packed meals. I'll give you a lot more ideas then as well in the mindset that you can have behind creating good, nourishing meals. But one thing that I want to share with you is the idea of mix and match, because let's say that you prepare a couple different proteins and a couple different carbs. You can take chicken one day, rice one day, pair it with your favorite vegetable, add ranch dressing from Trader Joe's, because that's my favorite thing ever right now. You can add that. That is going to be such a yummy, yummy meal. So for example, the chicken, it could be chicken meatballs or it could be grilled chicken. The rice, you could cook it in bone broth if you wanted to. It could be chili lime rice. It can just be plain white rice. That's what I have most of the time. And then you've got the edamame, again, frozen from the freezer. You heat that up, combine that all in a bowl, add the ranch dressing sauce on top. Chef's kiss. Delicious, easy, filling. And then you can play with, okay, what portions make me feel good and full? What's too much? And you can really lean into trusting your body to know what to do with the food that you give it and letting it give you the feedback. And then another meal idea, let's say you have the chicken meatballs in your fridge, you've got the white rice in your fridge. What's another protein and carb that you can mix and match? You could have ground beef as another one, and then you can have roasted sweet potatoes as another. So some days you might want to pair the chicken and sweet potatoes. Sometimes you might want to pair the beef and the rice. Sometimes you might want to do the beef and sweet potatoes. So you're able to mix and match and prep foods rather than prep meals. I find that works for me as well, especially because I like to mix things up, but I also have my basics. I have my staples. I have the things that I know are going to get me to where I want to go and fuel me with protein and carbs and flavor and fiber, and it's great. So that's what I want you to think about. So we have our protein goal. We know we want to eat 3 meals a day. We know that we're aiming for 25 grams of fiber. We know that we need to have good staples. So right now I want you to think about what can be my staple meal. Next week we're going to be talking more about meal ideas, meal prepping, meal planning, all things to do with the structure behind your meals and how to make it easy for you so that it's not hard, that it's very simple, because I know how frustrating it can be when a healthy you goes to the grocery store and gets all these healthy foods. Now they're in your fridge, and now what do you do with that? And especially what do you do with it when you want a sweet treat or something but you didn't get it? So we're going to be talking a lot about that next week. And overall, this series is to empower you to make nutrition simple and easy. And remember that it does not have to be perfect. There is no perfect time to eat more protein. There is no perfect time to eat more fiber. It's just something that you're going to do next meal. And I think when you have that mentality of that, takes off so much pressure that all of a sudden there's a start date and a finish date to how I'm eating, then you realize, oh my gosh, this actually is a lifestyle. I'm adding more protein to my meals. I'm adding more vegetables to my overall diet. I'm adding more fruit. I'm adding more fun foods when it makes sense. I'm adding more fiber. I'm thinking about how food makes me feel. I'm empowering myself. I'm loving my lifestyle. I'm loving how I eat. It makes me feel good. I don't feel bad. It makes things so much better. And so I hope that that's your takeaway this week, is to make food simple, make it easy, come back to your staples, come back next week. We're going to talk more about those meal ideas, how to incorporate foods that you love and foods that you know that you need. So if you're enjoying this podcast, please give it a 5-star rating and review on Spotify and Apple. Make sure you follow the podcast as well so that you don't miss out on any episodes, especially this Nourishing Your Body series. You're not going to want to miss any of these episodes because these are going to help you lay the bricks for a healthy, active lifestyle, especially when it comes to nourishing your body. Before we go, if healthy eating is something that you want to genuinely get better at, because this is a skill, this is something that you learn, this is something that you're going to use for your whole life. If how you're eating right now is not serving you, is not helping you, you're not seeing the results that you want to see, you would like to talk through some of the things that are keeping you stuck, or have somebody help you see the gaps in your plan and figure out how you can elevate the way that you're eating to feel better, to feel stronger, to look fit, all those things, I do have one-on-one consultation calls that you can book below, or you can apply to work with me through one-on-one coaching if you want a deeper transformation. But again, if you're wanting a really good starting point, those one-on-one consultations are great for you if you want that clarity to take away all the guesswork and the confusion and the overwhelm, and to get straight to knowing what to do, how to do it, and talk through, again, the things that are making you feel stuck, and to see the things that you're already doing well, because chances are you probably have a good foundation, but we can make simple tweaks to make it even better. So with that, I'll put the link to book either a one-on-one consultation call or apply for one-on-one coaching if you want a deeper transformation in the description box below, as well as the link to my Instagram if you want to see visuals of what meal ideas can look like. I put those on my stories all the time. And we'll leave it at that, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!